Hello, welcome to watching me make food from campfire cooking in another world, and the first dish I made was sausage portaufer. First thing I did was cut the vegetables, which are carrot, potatoes and cabbage. Then in a pot, I stir-fried sliced bacon which I already had in the fridge. Once the bacon was slightly brown, I added the vegetables and stir-fried until everything was soft, which was kinda difficult because my pot was too small. It did become easier once the vegetables softened, and after that, I added just enough water to cover everything. It wasn't specified in the anime what seasoning was used, so I followed Google's advice and added chicken stock cube and dashi. I let it boil until the carrot and potatoes were fully cooked before adding the mini sausages and black pepper. I made sure to mix it well, then let it simmer for a bit. I didn't even add a lot of sausage, but the smell was already overpoweringly strong, so thank God I like sausage, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to eat this. I tried my best to plate it like in the anime, but I replaced the bread with rice because why eat stew with bread? And I was pretty proud of myself for the way it turned out. The next dish I made was chicken teriyaki with onion soup, and I used chicken thighs because I like the texture. This was a really simple recipe because all I needed to do was pan fry the chicken on both sides until it was fully cooked before adding the teriyaki sauce. As for the sauce, I used store-bought one, and I don't know if this is the proper way to do it, but I tried to caramelize the meat in the sauce before letting it simmer until the sauce thickened. Let it cool before cutting, but for me, I was too impatient. I just wanted to hurry up and plate it so I could eat it, so I braved the heat to cut it. The meat was slightly juicy and it was a nice brown color, so I would say this was a pass. The onion soup was also store-bought, and I got it from Daiso, which really surprised me because I didn't expect them to sell soup. Anyways, the packaging said to put it in boiling water for 3 to 5 minutes, so that was what I did. This obviously cannot be compared to proper onion soup, but it looked so questionable because it was so watery. These two dishes actually made a good combination though, because the teriyaki chicken was sweet while the onion soup was salty. So you know what? The writer of the anime knew what he was doing. Next up, spaghetti bolognese, and first I diced a small onion. I saw this hack on TikTok where you make slices stopping near the end of the onion so that it's basically still intact, and it really was much easier to dice it because it doesn't keep moving around. I salted the water for the spaghetti, and truthfully, until now, I still don't know how much salt is needed exactly. I've always just winged it. It takes 10 minutes to cook, so I let it be while I got started on the sauce. I sauteed onion just until it softened a little and changed color because cooking onion is an actual test of patience, and I do not have the patience to wait for it to caramelize. After that, I added minced meat, and I didn't season it because at this point in the anime, it wasn't seasoned as well. I definitely messed up here because I bought too small of a portion of minced meat, hence why the ratio of minced meat to onion is so off. It was time to add the tomato sauce, and I was actually so glad that they used pre-made one because I don't really enjoy making my own tomato sauce. They used consomme base for flavor, which I had to Google what that was, and I couldn't find it in the supermarket, so I just used salt and pepper. The sauce was done, and I think I used a good amount of tomato sauce because it didn't turn out too saucy, which was what I was aiming for. I had already plated the spaghetti, so all that was left was to top it with the sauce and sprinkle a little cheese on top. Not trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like I did the anime justice. Next up are two salmon dishes, and first one is foil grilled salmon. I sliced onion, cut enoki and shimeji mushroom, then seasoned salmon with salt and pepper on both sides. Then on a buttered aluminium foil, I layered the onion slices, followed by the salmon, followed by the mushrooms, which I didn't know how to place nicely, so I just put it at the side. I placed a slab of butter on the salmon, then wrapped it up tightly in the aluminium foil before baking it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. While that was baking, I made the next dish, which is salmon meunier. Once again, I seasoned the salmon with salt and pepper before lightly coating it in flour, and I guess I didn't dry the salmon well enough because the flour wasn't coated well. This dish is pan fried, and I have to say I'm not very confident in cooking salmon because I can never ever tell when it is fully cooked. I just cooked it until it turned a nice golden color before removing it. The anime didn't show how to make the sauce, so I googled, and it's basically butter with some lemon juice. It didn't look foamy like in the anime, and I thought I messed up, so I went to compare to photos online, and turns out it's not supposed to. Then I drizzled it over the salmon, and it's done. By then, the foil grilled one was also done, and it turned out so much better. I was disappointed with the way my salmon meunier turned out, but I was satisfied with the foil grilled one. Next up, I made two dishes again, but this time it was chicken. The first one is chicken bambanji, which is basically a chicken salad. I cut a tomato into slices and julienned a cucumber. There was no need to, but I decided to plate the vegetables first because why not? The base is tomato and the cucumber goes on top, and there was no need to arrange the cucumber nicely because it was going to be covered by the chicken anyway. Then I boiled chicken breast and it took a while, but all that was required after that was to shred it, and you can do it by fork, but I find it easiest by hand. I layered the shredded chicken on the cucumber and drizzled sesame dressing over the chicken, and my chicken salad is done. I don't eat salad often, but this looked really good. The other dish is chicken and pepper stir fry. I cut a yellow, green and red bell pepper into pieces, and this was the first time I used all three colors in a dish. I cut a chicken into pieces as well, and I used chicken breast. I poured soy sauce over the chicken, mixed it and made sure to coat everything in the soy sauce before letting it marinate for a bit. In the anime, they cook bell peppers after chicken so that it will be crunchy, but I decided to cook it first because I wanted it to be soft since I was cooking for my family. Once the peppers softened, I added chicken, and once the outside of the chicken was cooked, I added oyster sauce and black pepper. The chicken will continue cooking as you mix everything, and that's why I didn't add the sauce after the chicken was fully cooked because I didn't want it to be too dry. This dish is also done, and I love the pop of color from the bell peppers. Out of all the dishes I made, these two are definitely the ones I'm most happy with and also the most enjoyable. The last dish I made was gyudon, and first I sliced an onion. Then a good kind of meat to use is beef roast, which are meant for shabu shabu. In the anime, they use water as the base for the sauce, but I used dashi because I wanted more flavor, and that's okay because it's also an authentic way to make gyudon. Then add a quarter cup of soy sauce and 2 tablespoons each of sugar and sake, which I didn't have, so I used Shaoxing wine. I stirred it well, then let it come to a boil. I added onion and let it boil until softened, which took a while, but the outcome will be obvious because it will shrink once softened. I turned down the heat, then added the beef roast, and this cooked really quick, so don't leave it for too long. I really struggled to stir it because my pot was too damn small, so it was left cooking longer than I wanted it to. I let it simmer for a few more minutes just so it could absorb the sauce. This turned out much easier than I expected. I don't know why I always thought gyudon would be tedious to make. Anyways, all that was left was to plate it over a bowl of rice, and my gyudon was done. This was a really fun video to make, and I definitely want to do a part 2, so stay tuned if you enjoyed watching this video. Bye!